Gurave Gaurachandaya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Vandeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanuga Pravaram Brajarasa Rasikam Cha Narayanam Tam Prapannam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prasthaya Bhutalaya Rupanuga Bhaktidam Cha Kripa Murti Narayanam Seva Kunja Vijay Ramya Govardhana Giro Sada Radha Kunja Rasananda Tatta Seva Pradayakam Gurum Narayanakyam Tam Vande Vinoda Preshtakam Tatpara Smiti Matrena Damodara Prasidati Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Vigatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Bhaktya Vihina Parada Lakshay Kshiptascha Kamarita Ranga Madhye Kripamayi Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhajami Radham Aravindanetram Smarami Radham Madhura Smitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Bharadram Tato Mamanyasti Gopirnakapi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my Sastananda Pranam Thavanatang Gaur Siddhi Paramaradatam Guru Paravarma Om Vishnu Par Satra Shishriman Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Second, I offer my Sastananda Pranam Thavanatang Gaur Siddhi Shri Rupanuga Gauri Guru Vargam. I offer my Sastananda Pranam to all assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. Today is the Avirbhav Tithi. Let's say of Shiva's Pandit, Shiva's Thakur. Is that Panchatat Atmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. He is called the Bhaktakya. He is the devotee himself. The devotee of the Lord. He is the perfect devotee. And it is by the mercy of Shiva's Pandit that we can manifest devotion unto Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and Radha Mandir. He is serving all of them. And Chaitanya Bhagavat Vrindavan Das Thakur has described in Madhya Leela, chapter 25, pastime of discourse on spiritual knowledge by Shiva's dead son. What happens here? Here comes Vrindavan Das Thakur. Jaya Jaya Sarva Lokanath Gaura Chandra Jaya Vipraveda Dharma Nyasira Mahendra. All glories to Gaura Chandra, the Lord of all universes. All glories to the best of Brahmanas, the Vedas, the eternal religious principles, and the sannyasis. All glories to the jewel-like ocean of mercy who appeared from the womb of Sachi. All glories to Nityananda and all glories to Vishwambar. All glories to Lord Gauranga along with his associates. By hearing topics of Sri Chaitanya, one attains devotional service. The topics of the Madhya Kanda, which describe how the life and soul of everyone perform these pastimes in Navadip, are like a reservoir of devotional mellows. The Lord constantly displayed His opulences as He continuously engaged in congregational glorification of Hari. Mahaprabhu roared and laughed loudly as He danced in the ecstasy of chanting His own names. The Lord continually rolled on the ground in the mellows of ecstatic love. His body, which is worshipped by Brahma, became covered with dust. The fortunate devotees saw to the full satisfaction of their eyes that there was no end to the Lord's absorption in ecstasy. When the Lord regained external consciousness, He would sit down with the devotees. Some days He would go sport in the waters of the Ganga. Some days the Lord would sit in the courtyard after dancing, and all the devotees would bathe Him there inside the house. While the Lord was dancing in ecstasy, the pious Dukhi would bring water. Sometimes tears would come to her eyes as she watched the Lord dance, and then she would go again and again to bring water from the Ganga. She kept the water pots in rows on all sides. On seeing this, Sri Satchidananda became greatly pleased. Like when Gurudev was in Navadip, then he would go take bath in the Ganga every day. And Param Gurudev one time told him, if you're going to the Ganga, anything you do should be always based on service, devotional service. You should not be just going for your own sake. Then what would Gurudev do? He would go to the Ganga, take bath, and always bring back two pots of Ganga for the deity worship and the pujaris there in the mud. Seeing this, then Param Gurudev became so pleased. This Dukhi, she was bringing water in pots, placing them there in a row, in a line, in the house of Srivas. The Lord asked Srivas, who brings water every day from the Ganga? Srivas replied, O Lord, Dukhi brings the water. The Lord then said, you should all call her Sukhi. The name Dukhi is not appropriate for her. I think she is always Sukhi. Dukhi means someone who is miserable, always sad and unhappy. But Sukhi means the opposite, someone who is always joyful, happy, elated. On hearing such compassionate words from the Lord's mouth, the devotees all began to cry in the happiness of ecstatic love. By the order of the Lord, everyone called her Sukhi. And from then on, Shiva did not treat her as a maidservant. Like before, Shyamanandapu's name was Dukhi Krishnadas. Why sometimes the parents, they'll give this name, Dukhi, to their child. They have so much love and affection that maybe they lost some previous child in birth, sons. They don't want to lose this child, so they give a name like Dukhi, like, or Black or something. Then the name itself is like, oh, he is very Dukhi. So then death itself, misery won't come to that child. Already is miserable, and they will avoid it. So it's like for protection of the child, they give this name. But Mahaprabhu is saying, oh, she is not Dukhi, she is Sukhi. By the order of the Lord, everyone called her Sukhi. And from then on, Shiva did not treat her as a maidservant. Why Mahaprabhu giving a name? Now, normally as a servant, when you're ordering them, this, that, you have to be a little bit strict with them. But now that Mahaprabhu giving her the spiritual name, this is like what? It's like initiation, like Harinam. Giving some position. Now, Mahaprabhu is respecting her, then Shiva himself is now not treating her anymore as a maidservant. One attains Krishna simply by serving him with love, but one cannot escape the punishment of Yamaraj simply by shaving one's head. Simply by the external acceptance of sannyas, or simply by atoning for one's sinful activities, one cannot escape the punishment of Yamaraj. If one engages in service for the purpose of acquiring love for Krishna, one attains Krishna. Good birth, beauty, wealth, and education are useless. Krishna is pleased with one if one worships him with love. All the teachings of the Vedas and the Srimad Bhagavatam were directly exhibited by Shri Gaura Sundar. Despite being a maidservant, Duki received mercy that can never be seen by those who are falsely proud. Here in the purport, Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is saying, being a maidservant in the house of Shivas, Duki pleased the Supreme Lord Sri Gaur Sundar by bringing him water from the Ganges. As a result, the Supreme Lord became pleased with her and addressed the pious Duki as Sukhi. Such activities are examples of incidents described in scriptures like the Vedas and the Srimad Bhagavatam. If armchair speculators who observe things from a distance consider the devotees situated in ecstatic love as inferior, it is simply because they are falsely proud. But therefore, it's not, you may have so much position, so much high birth, this and that, but if your karma, your actions do not show that, then what is it worth? Even one may be born in such a low family, low caste, but if one's actions are so beautiful, full of devotion, then that person is worshipful to all. Ki kohi bo Shiva sera bhagyara mahima, jar das dasira bhagyara nahi sima. I am unable to describe the glories of Shiva's good fortune. There is no end to the good fortune of even his servants and maidservants. One day, as the Lord was dancing in the house of Shivas, the devotees headed by Shivas happily engaged in Sankirtan. By the arrangement of providence, the ladies watched the son of Shivas leave his body because of some disease. As Sri Satchidananda was dancing in ecstasy, the sound of crying filled the house of Shivas. Shivas Pandit therefore immediately went inside the room and found that his son had left his body. Being most sober and conversant with the intricacies of spiritual science, Shivas began to solace the ladies. You all know the glories of Krishna. Control your crying and pacify your minds. A person who even once hears the name of Krishna at the time of death attains the abode of Krishna, even if he is most sinful. The Lord is now personally dancing here, and his servants headed by Brahma are glorifying his qualities. Is it proper to lament for a person who leaves his body at such a time? If I can never become as fortunate as this child, I will consider my life successful. The Maharaj was doing kirtan at that time, hearing his kirtan, he left. Shivas is saying how glorious he is. Just now, in Prabhupada is quoting all these songs from Bhakta and Thakur, actually, which we just started singing in the purport here. All 10 songs. Bhakta Thakur has described this whole pastime in what? 11 songs. And then, in the end, he also gives the Falshruti. So actually 12 songs. There are 12 songs. They're starting from the other 400, page 408 or 406. 408. Starting from there, 12 songs describing this pastime by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Prabhupada has quoted every single one of them in his commentary to this, in these verses here. Jadiva sansara dharme nara samvartita vilambe kandiho ja jailoya chitte. If you cannot check these familial emotions, then at least cry to your satisfaction later. Shiva is telling him, okay, if you cannot control your mind and your lamentation, don't cry now, you can cry as much as you want later, but don't cry now. Mahaprabhu is here, he will become disturbed. Anya jana ke hoye akyanna shunaye pache tapurer nritya sukha bhanga hoye. Don't let anyone else hear about this incident. Otherwise the Lord's happiness from dancing will be disturbed. If by hearing your commotion the Lord regains his external consciousness, then I will certainly drown myself today in the Ganga. After hearing Shivasa's words, the ladies became pacified. Shivas then returned to the Lord Sankirtan. As Shivas participated with great ecstasy in the Sankirtan, his exceptional happiness repeatedly increased. Such are the glories of Srivas Pandit, who was the most qualified among Lord Chaitanya's associates. Gaurachandra danced in his own ecstatic mood. After some time he and the devotees stopped the kirtan. Gradually word spread among the devotees that Srivas Pandit's son had departed for Vaikuntha. Still, no one disclosed this news to the Lord. They all kept their feelings of distress in their hearts. Sri Gaurasundar, the crest jewel of omniscient persons, placed a question before everyone present there. The Lord said, I can't explain how I feel today. Has some distress entered the house of Srivas? Srivas Pandit replied, O Lord, what distress could I have when your pleasing lotus face is present in my house? Eventually the devotees informed the Lord what had happened to Srivas Pandit's son. The Lord gravely asked, how long ago did this happen? He was then informed that the incident occurred early in the evening. Fearing that your ecstasy would be disturbed, Srinivas did not inform anyone about this. Shiva, sometimes he is called Shiva, sometimes he is named called Srinivas also. Srivas Pandit, Srivas Thakur, so sometimes Srinivas. Paraloka hoyacha arai prahar eve agyadeho karya kolite satvar. It is nearly 7.5 hours since the child left his body. Now please give us permission to perform the last rites. On hearing about Srivas's wonderful activities, the Lord remembered Govinda. The Lord said, how will I give up such association? Speaking these words, Mahaprabhu began to cry. How will I give up the association of one who did not lament for his son out of love for me? Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is saying, householders become disturbed with lamentation when a calamity occurs in their family. Yet even the lamentation arising out of a householder's separation from his most beloved child could not bewilder Srivas, because he was in the association of the Supreme Lord. Therefore the devotees of the Lord are not considered products of matter or counted among ordinary people. There is no possibility for one who is totally intoxicated with love for Krishna to have love for objects not related to Krishna. On seeing the unique example of love exhibited by Srivas Pandit, the foremost of Sri Gaurasundar's friends in Navadvip, the Lord had no desire to leave his association go anywhere else. It's truly remarkable how Srivas Pandit is so attached to one point to Mahaprabhu, when his own son is dying, he is not feeling any sort of lamentation and distress. He is understanding this is happening due to the will of the Lord. And I will not let this event disturb the Lord's Sankirtan. Eto bole Mahaprabhu kandana nirbhar tyag yakya shuni sabe chintana antar. After speaking in this way, Mahaprabhu cried profusely. The devotees became thoughtful on hearing him speak on renunciation. The devotees discussed among themselves, but they could not understand when such a calamity would occur. They concluded that the Lord sighed deeply and cried loudly because he would eventually leave household life and accept sannyas. When the Lord became somewhat pacified on seeing the child, he prepared to take the child for performing its last rites. The Lord then asked the dead child, why are you leaving Srivas's house? The child replied, O Lord, this is the destiny arranged by you. Who has the power to change it? So in other words, the child had died, but now started to speak. The Lord is questioning the child. It's like when this Saranga Murari. Saranga Thakur was such an advanced and intimate associate of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu one day said, why aren't you trying to help all the jivas. Why don't you make some disciples? You are so old now, you cannot even go to the Ganga, bring water. It's very difficult to perform all your services. You are worshipping the Gopinath Diti. You should initiate someone and they can assist you in all this. But I have no desire to initiate anyone. But Maharaj said, this is my request. I desire it. He said, okay, my Lord, if it is your desire, then tomorrow I promise. The first person whom I meet, I will initiate them. When Sharanga Thakur, he went down to the Ganga in the early morning to take bath. As he was taking bath, a dead body came floating down the Ganga and it hit him. He saw the dead body, then he spoke the God mantra into the ear. That dead body came to life. It was a child. His name was Murari. That Murari then became intimate associate of Mahaprabhu and Sharanga Thakur. This is the difference between Shabda Samanya and Shabda Brahma. Ordinary sound vibration can change matter, can distort matter and things like this. But Shabda Brahma, it goes directly to the soul. Therefore, usually when someone dies, then the soul is usually hovering around the body for some time. Especially if you have lived a long life and you are attached to the body, then the soul will not depart so easily. That's why in India the Vedic custom is that you smash the head at the time of burning the body. Not only you burn, but you smash the skull. When the skull becomes mutilated like that, then the soul's last attachments to the body, the remaining, then it gets smashed, and then the soul can continue on to its destination. This is the general concept. So, that Murari was floating down the river, he spoke the mantra, then immediately the soul entered into the body. It came to life again. So this is the power of the Vaishnava. So Mahaprabhu also is speaking to Shivasa, now Shivasa's son again, now he's speaking, he's come back to life. The child replied, "Oh Lord, this is the destiny arranged by you. Who has the power to change it?" All the devotees were struck with wonder to hear the dead child reply to the Lord's questions. The child said, "I stayed and enjoyed as long as I was destined to live in this body. That destined time is now completed, so I cannot remain longer. Now I am going to another predestined body." Here, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is saying, in the commentary, in his Gaudiya Bhashya, "I cannot stay longer than I was destined by the will of the Lord to live as the son of Shivas. Therefore, I will certainly accept a body that is suitable for the place I am destined to go." Through the child's mouth, Sri Gaurasundar revealed to the people of the world the philosophy of reincarnation. The gross and subtle bodies are not eternal. The spirit soul accepts the gross and subtle bodies as coverings, and when required, is later forced to give them up. The living entity's acceptance of gross and subtle bodies and his wandering on the gross and subtle platforms result from the influence of identifying himself as the doer and the activities he performs. The spirit soul never wanders on the platforms of karma and jnana. The two abodes of sense enjoyment and liberation are never suitable dwelling places for the existence of the spirit soul. Everyone does not have the good fortune of attaining the association of Sri Gaurasundar and his associates. Therefore, a thirst for sense gratification or liberation and aversion to the service of the Supreme Lord are found within human nature. Why is there a lack of sadhusanga? Lack of sadhusanga, then where will this spiritual tendency and strength come from? To serve the Lord. Ei dehara nirbanda gelo rohidana pari eno kripa karo yena tomana pasari. My destined time in this body is finished, so I cannot stay. Be merciful so that I may not forget you. O Lord, who is anyone's father and who is anyone's son? Everyone enjoys the fruits of his own karma. As long as I had the good fortune, I lived at the house of Shivas. Now I am going to the house of someone else. I offer my obeisances at the feet of you and your associates. Please do not consider my offenses. I am leaving now. After speaking in this way, the child's body became silent. Such are the wonderful pastimes of Lord Gauranga. After hearing those extraordinary topics from the mouth of the dead child, the devotees all floated in the ocean of bliss. Srivasa's family members forgot their lamentation and distress for their child and became agitated in ecstatic love for Krishna. In their ecstatic love, Srivasa and his family members caught hold of the Lord's feet and began to cry. Janma janma tumi pita mata putra prabhu tamara charana jana napasari kavu. Birth after birth, you are our father, mother, son and master. May we never forget your lotus feet. O Lord, it does not matter where we take birth, but may we always have loving devotion for your lotus feet. As the four brothers offered humble words at the Lord's feet, the devotees in the four directions began to cry loudly. So we have the four parts: Srivas, Sripati, Ramai Pandit, and Sri. There are four brothers. The sound of crying in ecstatic love for Krishna rose in the four directions as the entire house of Srivas came filled with love of Krishna. The Lord said, "Listen, Srivas Pandit, you know well the nature of material existence. The miseries of material existence do not affect you. Even one who sees you is not affected by such miseries. Nityananda and I are your two sons, so you should no longer feel any grief in your heart." Shri Gaurasundar, Prabhupada is saying, Shri Gaurasundar said to Srivas Pandit, the devotees of the Supreme Lord never have any connection with the material world. In the vision of ignorant people, Srivas Pandit was a householder and a materialist. But the devotees of the Lord never even mistakenly considered that Srivas Pandit was such an inauspicious character. Those who are accustomed to see the devotees of the Supreme Lord have no bondage to material existence. One accepts the Supreme Lord as one husband, wife, or son, to feel the absence of any such most basic relationship. Then one attains direct association with that eternal personality. Simply by seeing the Lord's relationship with all objects, the living entity becomes liberated from the conditioned state. Therefore, Bhakti Thakur prays that Janani Dvaita Tanaya Prabhu Guru Pati Tuhu Sarvamani. You fulfill all these relationships for me. You are my mother, my father, my wife, my husband, my friend, my son, my guru, my master, everything. On hearing these most compassionate words from the lotus mouth of the Lord, the devotees in the four directions chanted Jai Jai. The Lord and his associates then performed kirtan as they took the child to the bank of the Ganga. After performing the appropriate rituals and taking bath in the Ganga, they returned home while chanting the names of Krishna. The Lord and the devotees returned to their respective homes, and Shiva's family became overwhelmed. One who hears this confidential topics will certainly attain the wealth of ecstatic love for Krishna. I offer my obeisances at the feet of Shivas, whose sons were Gaura Chandra and Nityananda. These wonderful pastimes took place in Navadvip. The devotees accept them, but the non-devotees do not. The topics of the Madhya Kanda are most extraordinary, for a dead child's narration on spiritual topics is included among them. In this way, Shri Gaurasundar continually enjoyed the happiness of Sankirtan in Navadvip. The Lord relished the mellows of ecstatic love and had no interest in family affairs. What to speak of other duties? He could not even worship Lord Vishnu. When he sat down to worship Lord Vishnu after taking bath, his clothing and entire body became soaked with tears of ecstatic love. While his Mahaprabhu, before he went to Gaya, he was Nimai Pandit, scholar Nimai. Upon meeting Vishwarapuri in Gaya, receiving mantra from Vishwarapuri, and now all his bhav, all his devotional sentiments, they are manifested. Now here, bhav of Nimai. Nimai absorbed in devotional mood, bhav. Always he is remembering the Lord and weeping and crying. His whole body is becoming so. His mind is continuously thinking of Krishna. He would then go out, change his cloth and return to worship Vishnu. Then his cloth would again become soaked with tears of love. And he would again go out and clean himself. In this way, he would simply continue to change his clothes and because of ecstatic love, he was unable to offer any worship to Vishnu. Eventually, he told Giridhari, you worship Vishnu. I am not fortunate enough. Prabhupada is giving some commentary, explanation of this. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is saying, whenever Sri Gaurasundar tried to worship Lord Vishnu according to the Pancharatric process, he failed every time to show proficiency in the process of Archana, because he was intoxicated by ecstatic love. By being repeatedly unsuccessful in worshipping the deity, he eventually entrusted the responsibility of worshipping the deity of Krishna to Sri Giridhari Pandit. He said, I am unfortunate, I am unable to worship with proper etiquette. When you worship the Lord, cleanliness is the most important thing. Timing and cleanliness. To be done according to the strict rules and regulations. If your cloth is always dirty and you're always sweating, then how you can do archana, how you can do puja? For the pujaris always have a separate cloth just for worship. And they always change that, always keeping their cloth clean. This one is very pleasing to the Lord. If pujari has no cleanliness and goes to worship the Lord, then it will be seva aparad. After Sri Gaurasundar awarded the service of Sri Gopinath to Sri Giridhari Pandit, in this pastime, Sri Giridhari continued to worship Sri Gopinath in the forest of Tatya Gopinath in Sri Purushottam Kshetra, and accepted disciples according to relative principles. As a result of worshipping the deity of the Lord for hundreds of lifetimes, a living entity develops love for chanting the holy names of the Lord. So if you worship the deity for hundreds of lives, then what will happen? In this life, you will have an inclination to chant Harinam. But one should not consider Sri Giridhari as such an ordinary living entity forced to accept the fruits of his karma. Rather, one should accept him as most dear to Mahaprabhu. The instruction for chanting the holy names of the Lord, which is the ultimate fruit of deity worship, is given in Sri Gaurasundar Shikshastaka. Hey Mata Vaikunta Nayaka Bhakti Rasa Bihare Navadvipe Ratriya Divase. In this way, the Lord of Vaikunta was absorbed in the mellows of devotional service, as he day and night enjoyed pastimes in Navadvip. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chandajan Vrindavan Tachu Pada Yugegam. Accepting Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of the lotus feet. Thus ends the 25th chapter of Madhya Chaitanya Bhagavat. There's so many pastimes of Srivas Pandit in the Bhagavatam and the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So many descriptions. All of Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Kirtan, Sankirtan pastimes took place where? In Shiva Sangam only. Nowhere else. In the company of Shivas and all the Vaishnavas, Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes. Therefore, in Mahaprabhu's house is right next to Shiva Sangam. When you go to Navadvip Dham, Yoga Pit, and then Shiva Sangam, not just nearby. Then Shiva Sangam, next to Shiva Sangam is Giridhari Angan, Advaita Angam. Right next to each other, all there living together. He said that one time Shivas, he would do Sankirtan, and then all the, as we heard from the Vaishnavas, so many Smarta Brahmanas, so many atheistic people, and so-called followers of Durga, Kali, they were all becoming agitated. Why Mahaprabhu would chant, perform Sankirtan all night in the courtyard of Shivas. And then due to the sound, their sleep may have been broken, or they just became agitated. So why are you shouting so loudly? You think the Lord is there? He is there in your heart. He cannot hear you. Why you have to make so much noise? Make so much noise? Simply pray to the Lord in your heart. He will hear everything. And even one time, one Brahmana, he cursed Mahaprabhu. Said, my life is ruined. Every day I am not unable to sleep. I am hearing this Sankirtan day and night. I've lost everything. I curse that also you will also not find any happiness in your house. You'll have to leave your home. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, oh, very nice. This is not a curse, this is a benediction. Then Mahaprabhu then, therefore, in order to fulfill the words of that Brahmana, then Mahaprabhu eventually took some sannyas. He fulfilled that. So, other times also, the locals, they would threaten, talk loudly amongst themselves, spread rumors. Oh, Srivas is making so much commotion here. Nimai is doing so much Sankirtan here. What will happen if the Muslims, they find out? They'll come here with all their soldiers, they'll arrest us, they'll steal our property, who knows what they will do. They are feeling disturbed that they are creating because why the Sankirtan movement was spreading, everything was spreading. Then they thought this will definitely will be noticed by the rulers, the Muslims, and then they'll punish us. That before they come and punish us, we will ourselves go to the Muslims and we will inform them of this Srivas, and they'll come and arrest him, and then it will be better for us. So they were thinking like this, we'll ourselves go and inform. So Srivas Pandit, he was hearing all these things. And then he began worshipping Nishingadev in his house. Worshipping Narayan, Nishingadev. And he was chanting Nishinga mantras. And with a lot of intensity, absorption. Then he was doing this for many days, 2-3 days like this. Sometime. Then Mahaprabhu heard this. That these Muslims are making threat and Srivas is worshipping Nishingadev. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and banged on the door of Srivas Pandit. Open the door, open the door. I am he, I am he. He you are worshipping inside, I am he. Open the door. The Srivas Pandit opened the door. The Mahaprabhu came in and sat on the Singhasan and manifested in the Singha Sarup. Narasingha Bhagavan Sarup. So Srivas and all his family, everybody. Then after showing that Sarup to them, then Mahaprabhu, he said, why are you afraid? I am the Antaryami, the Super Soul residing in everyone's heart. Without my inspiration, no one, not even a blade of grass moves. Nothing can happen without my consent. If I do not desire, those Muslims can never come here. And even if they do come here, what will I do? I will easily liberate them. I'll make them into devotees too. I'll also make them dance and chant in ecstasy of the holy name. Then there was Narayani. This was the mother of Vrindavan Thakur. She was the niece of Srivas Pandit. She was one of his brother's daughters. Yeah? Mahaprabhu told her, chant Krishna, 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 Krishna. And simply by chanting the holy name, Krishna, 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 then all Prema Bhakti, all ecstatic symptoms manifested in her heart. And all ecstatic symptoms in her body also. And she became overwhelmed with Krishna Prema. Just see, this is how, if anyone who comes here, I will also make them dance and madden in the holy name. When Mahaprabhu is showing this pastime, then Srivas, everyone, they became pacified. When they all washed Mahaprabhu on the street, and Srivas distributed that charan to everyone. All his servants, maid servants, the dogs, and animals, everybody. One time Srivas Pandit, he was also fasting. He was performing fasting. And Mahaprabhu found out. Then they asked, Mahaprabhu asked, why are you fasting? He said, because there's no grain, nothing sufficient to maintain my family. So I'm fasting. I'll fast for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And if simply by doing bhajan and bhakti, my maintenance doesn't come after 3 days, then I will clap my hands three times and I'll jump into the Ganga and give up my life. And Mahaprabhu smiled. He said, oh, Srivas Pandit, this will never happen. Lakshmi Devi herself may have to beg. She may become a beggar and beg for her maintenance. But Srivas, you will never have to beg for your maintenance. You are so fortunate. You have pure love and devotion in your heart. Then Mahaprabhu instructed who? This Shivananda Sen. That you should manage and take care of the family of Srivas Pandit. He is so absorbed in his devotional sentiment, in his bhakti, that he has no common sense, no idea what is going on. He is unable to run his household. He has become maddened in Krishna Prem. Therefore he instructed, you should take care, you should manage, somehow help, assist him. Then we heard from the Vaishnavas also how then Mahaprabhu, he told Srivas and Malini, this Nitai is now your son. You take care of him. And Nitai being like an avadut, he would sometimes walk around, even in the courtyard of Srivas Pandit, completely naked. Mahaprabhu seeing that, he would come and he would wrap a chadar around him. Nitai sometimes in the mood of a little baby, he would drink the breast milk of Malini Devi. He would sometimes come and speak so many crazy things. The eyes were always reddish, maddened in Krishna Prem. And Srivas Pandit and Malini Devi, they considered Nitai like their own son. Always taking care of him, looking after him, nurturing him. Nitai had so much affection for Srivas and Malini. So Srivas Pandit, they said that during the time of Vyas Puja also, Mahaprabhu discussed, oh, it is Vyas Purnima is coming. On this Vyas Purnima, it is custom that we should worship who? Krishna Vaipaya and Veda Vyas. We should worship Vyas there. Without worshipping Vyas there, then we will become the fault of being ungrateful for the Lord. He has compiled all the Vedic scriptures, divided the four Vedas to Upanishads, Puranas, Mahabharata, Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavatam, everything. All living entities are indebted to Vyasdev. Therefore, we should worship Vyasdev. So then, we decided, yes, on the day of Vyas Purnima, we will worship Vyasdev. So then Mahaprabhu ordered to Shiva, you collect, arrange for all the agreed articles of worship. And also the manual, the Padakti, for how to worship. So Srivas Pandit here acquired all that. Then, the day of Vyas Puja there, it was time to do the Vyas Puja, Mahaprabhu was not there. Then Srivas Pandit told Nityananda, said, why don't you start? He said, Mahaprabhu has not come. He said, time is going. Nityananda, he pretended to ignore. He just ignored Shiva. And he was waiting. And as soon as Mahaprabhu came, at the time he came, then Nityananda took all that paraphernalia, made Mahaprabhu sit on the Vyasasan Singhasan, and then he took all that worship, that paraphernalia which was to be used in the worship of Vyas, but instead worshipped Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then all the devotees, then they also followed in that footsteps, and they worshipped Mahaprabhu. And this way, and then Mahaprabhu, he took that paraphernalia and he worshipped Nityananda himself. Who is the Hari Guru, Akanda Guru Tattva. So since that time,